Hi guys, welcome back to yet another ladensercrotchets tutorial. In this one we'll be making this halter top that has a V-shape detail on the top part of it, and it's a very simple top. I hope you're going to enjoy it. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and let's get into the tutorial. I'll be using my favorite hook, which is the 3mm crochet hook, and then this yarn, it's a thin yarn, and therefore I'll be doubling my strands. It's called seagull. And then you'll need a pair of scissors, a darning needle, and of course a measuring tape. I have my 2 strands right here, and I'm going to start with a slip knot. Then chain 4. That is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then yarn over and go into the first chain and place a double crochet. Now the first chain 3 is acting as our first double crochet. Then you're going to yarn over, go into the same stitch and place another double crochet. And a double crochet is yarn over, put your hook through the chain, yarn over, grab a loop, then yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through the remaining 2. And we have a total of 3 double crochets. That's our row 1. To begin row 2, we chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, then turn. Now that is going to act as our first double crochet. Then into this stitch where the double crochet is originating, we're going to yarn over and place another double crochet right there. And we have 2 double crochets into that stitch. Then into the middle stitch, we are going to place 1 double crochet. Then the last stitch is on top of the first chain 3 that we had. We are placing the double crochet into the last stitch, which is that chain 3 stitch. Place a double crochet, then place another double crochet into the same stitch. Next we chain 3 and turn to begin row 3. Again we begin with an increase in the first stitch, this one right here. Place a double crochet into that first stitch, and you're going to have 2 double crochets into the first stitch, and that is an increase. Then the middle stitches will each get 1 double crochet. We're in the last stitch where we had the chain 3, and we're going to yarn over and place a double crochet into the third chain of that stitch. Then place another double crochet into that last stitch again, so you have 2 at the beginning and 2 at the end. That means we are increasing on this side and on the other side. Again, chain 3 and turn to begin row 4. We begin in the first stitch with a double crochet. Then you're going to have a double crochet into the next chain, into the next stitch that is, and you're going to have a double crochet into these stitches that are in the middle till you get to the stitch at the end. At the end you're going to place 2 double crochets into the same stitch. We are in the last stitch, which is a chain 3, and into that stitch place 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. We are done with row 4. We chain 3 and turn to begin row 5. Begin in the first stitch with a double crochet, and that plus the chain 3, those are 2 double crochets. So this is what we're going to be doing. We'll be increasing at the beginning and at the end, and all the other stitches will each get just 1 double crochet. And keep working and increasing on both sides until you have a length that is half your bust minus 4 inches. Half of my bust is 17, minus 4 is 13, and so I'll work a number of rows until I have 13 inches when my work is stretched. Let me get to that point and then I'll show you. So at this point I'm in row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times 2, row 16. I'm in row 16, and I'm going to measure that to see whether I've gotten to 13 inches, which is 17 minus 4. So without stretching, my work goes up to around 9.5. There. And so when I stretch, I should get to 13 or something close to 13. So this is 13 inches. When my work is fully stretched, you need to really stretch it out because that part of the bust stretches. So then after getting your half your bust minus 4 inches, you're going to chain 1 and cut off the yarn. At that point, and then pull through and fasten, then turn your work to this side where the stitches are visible, and we're going to do a chain, then we're going to reattach it at this point in the first chain. Next, you're going to take your bust measurement and divide it by 8. Mine is 35 by 8. I'm getting around 4.3. Then you're going to start with a slip knot and make a chain that will give me 4.3. But then because we subtracted 4 inches for the half of the bust, we're going to take 2 on one side and 2 on the other side. And therefore, I'll take 4.3 plus 2 to get 6.3. So I'll make a chain that is 6.3 inches long when stretched. I've done a total of 22 chains, and when I measure this when stretched, I'm getting to my around 6.5. I was supposed to work 6.3, but I can work with 6.5. It's just a difference of 0.2. So 23 works for me. Then you're going to yarn over and get your work. Reattach this using a double crochet on the point where you finished the previous work. Right there, do a double crochet. And then each of the stitches till we get to the last stitch, we'll get just 1 double crochet. And as I do that, I'll work over this tail. So a double crochet into the next stitch and a double crochet into every stitch till you get to the end. When I started, I mentioned that I was working a bust of 34, and then I got to a point I started working with 35. That was an error, and because 34 and 35 is only a difference of 1 inch, I'll just continue like that. But be careful not to get confused like me. Ensure that you work with the bust measurement that you started with. So I'm coming to the end of this row, and I've done the last double crochet in the chain 3 stitch, and we're going to chain the same number of stitches we chained on this side. So I did 23. I'll still do 23 on this end. So 1, 23, turn your work. Then this is the 23rd stitch, this is the 22nd. So I'll hold the 22nd and chain 2 more. That will act as our first double crochet. Then yarn over, go into the chain that you're holding and place a double crochet. Then we're going to place a double crochet into each of the chains. And then when you get to this point, we continue with a double crochet. Then we'll work a double crochet all the way back to the end of this first chain. So each stitch is just getting 1 double crochet. We get to this point and keep going with the double crochets. I'm done placing a double crochet into every stitch, and this is what we have. Next we're going to chain 3 and turn to begin. This is my row 19. I've just worked at 16, then I worked 17. This is 18, so I'm in row 19, and that chain 3 is our first double crochet, and therefore we won't work into this stitch. We'll move straight into the next stitch with a double crochet, and each of the stitches is going to get just one double crochet to the end. From this point on, we are going to work rows of double crochets, one into each of the stitches, and until you have the full length of the top that you want. Keep going with the rows till you get a length that you want. That is, you'll work a number of rows that will give you your full length of the top, and I'll meet you once I have the full length of mine. Just working one double crochet into every stitch and repeat the rows. This is what I have after doing an extension of 20 rows, and I have achieved my full length of the top that I want. If you want yours longer, you can keep going. If you want it shorter, you could do fewer rows. And at this point, we're going to do an edging all the way around the top, and then yeah, we continue. So from this point, I'm going to chain 1, and I'll work on this edge, and because we're working on the double crochet rows, we're going to place 2 single crochets into each double crochet row. A single crochet into that first row, into the next one. The next row gets 2 single crochets. The one that follows will get 2 single crochets too. Next, 2 single crochets, and I'll work 2 single crochets into every row till I get to this corner. Then we shall continue from there. At the corner, and I'm going to place a stitch into this corner right here, a single crochet, and another single crochet into that corner stitch, and we'll turn to this side. Then we're going to work a single crochet into each of the stitches till we get to this point. As I do that, I'll work over this tail. So into the next stitch, place a single crochet, I'm at the stitch at the corner, and so once you get to the stitch at the corner, we have the double crochet rows, and we're going to place 2 double crochets into every row right here. 1 and a second single crochet, 2 single crochets into the next row, into the next, We get to the corner stitch, and in that stitch place 2 single crochets, and 2, then we turn, then we're going to work a single crochet the same way we've done on the other side all the way till we get to this point. Once you get to that corner, you're going to work single crochets all the way to the bottom, and we're going to begin by placing 3 single crochets into that corner row in order to get that corner part. So 3 single crochets. Then the next row is going to get 2 single crochets, then 2 single crochets into the next row, and we're going to continue working 2 single crochets into every row till we get to the bottom of the top. Once you get to the bottom row, you're going to place 2 single crochets into that row, and then you're going to chain 1, then cut off the yarn. At that point, we are done with that part of the edging. Now you pull through and fasten, and we're going to work an edging on the top part of the top alone. To work that top edging, make a slip knot and attach your yarn at one of the corners of the edges of the top part. Make a slip knot to attach the yarn. Then you're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. You're going to chain 1 more while holding the second stitch, then go into that second stitch and place a single crochet, then place a single crochet into the next stitch for a total of 2 single crochets, and then we move on to the next stitch and do a slip knot into that stitch. Then we're going to do a slip stitch, not slip knot, sorry. We're going to do a slip stitch into the next stitch, then turn. When you're turning, you will not be chaining on this side. Then place a single crochet into that first stitch and a single crochet into the next stitch. Chain 1 next and turn to begin row 3. We're going to begin row 3 in the first stitch, and into that stitch we're going to work a single crochet. Then we're going to increase by working another single crochet into that stitch. Those will be 2. Then we're going to have a third one into the next stitch. So row 3 will have 3 single crochets. Then we're going to do a slip stitch into the stitch that follows, 1 slip stitch, then slip stitch again into the next stitch, and turn to begin row 4. Row 4 will have 3 stitches, 1 into each one of them. As you can see, we are working the stitches into the normal stitches. We are not working in the back loops. So a third stitch into the last stitch, then chain 1 and turn to begin the next row. Begin into the first stitch with 2 single crochets for that first increase, 1 and 2. So this row is going to have a total of 4 single crochets. So we're going to have 2, then 1 into each of the next 2 stitches. And to complete that row, we slip stitch onto the next stitch. Do a slip stitch and do a second slip stitch into the next stitch. Then turn your work. Place 1 single crochet into every stitch for a total of 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 into the last stitch that we increased. Then chain 1 at the end. Chain 1 and turn. Again, we begin this row with an increase, 2 stitches into the first stitch, 1 and 2. Then place a stitch into all the other 3 stitches. At the end of this row, we should have 5 stitches, and we slip stitch to complete the row. From this point on, we are not going to increase anymore. We're just going to be working with the 5 stitches. So do a slip stitch and do a slip stitch into the next stitch. Then turn your work. Work 1 single crochet into every stitch for a total of 5. As you can see, I'm working over this end that is over here so that I can hide it. And I'm just placing 1 single crochet to get a total of 5 single crochets. At the end, chain 1 and turn. Remember, we're not increasing anymore. We're just going to work with the 5 single crochets. Keep going with the single crochets until you get to the top part of the top, and I'll meet you there. Then I'll show you what to do next. So just work until you get to the top part. Just working the single crochets, slip stitching, and turning your work, and I'll meet you there. After working my edging, this is what I have, and I'm done with the first half of the edging. To begin working on the other side, I'll put my hook back to that last stitch, and then I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and I'll work the 5 single crochets that I've been working. After I'm done with the 5th single crochet, I'm going to chain 5 from that point. So chain 5 and turn my work to the other side so that I can start working on those stitches that I've just done. I'll do 1 more single crochet, 1 more single crochet as I hold the 5th stitch, go into the 5th stitch and work a single crochet, and then for the next 4 single crochets, next 4 stitches I'll place a single crochet into each one of them for a total of 5. So do the 5 single crochets. I'm really struggling with the stitches right here, and I don't know, the positioning of my camera was not okay with this top. Next, I'm going to slip stitch onto that stitch on the top part, and then slip stitch into the next stitch and turn my work. Then I'll start working a single crochet into that last stitch that I've just worked. Work a single crochet into each one of them for a total of 5. Then chain 1 and turn to begin the next row. This is the third row of the edging on the other side, and we're going to begin with a single crochet into the first stitch. Then work a single crochet for a total of 5 single crochets. Once you get to the bottom part, you're going to slip stitch twice. 1 into the first stitch, that is after the stitch that we worked during the previous row. So slip stitch into the next stitch, 1, then slip stitch into the next stitch and turn. That second slip stitch acts as our chain 1, and continue working the 5 single crochets. I'm going to work like this till I have around 8 stitches remaining on the other side. This is what I have right now, and now I'll keep just going all the way down until I have my 8 stitches. So I'll count 8 stitches from this end and do my single crochets, 5 single crochets edging till I get there. Then I'll show you what to do next. I'm at this point where I have my 8 rows remaining, like I had mentioned. If you leave 6, that will be okay too, but we can still work with the 8. So turn your work. I've already slip stitched twice, so I'm going to work 1 single crochet into every stitch for a total of 5 stitches as usual. So just 1 single crochet, and when you get to the end of that row, we chain 1. So chain 1 and turn. We start with a reduction. We want to move down to the 2 stitches. So put your hook through the first stitch and grab a loop into the second stitch. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all the 3. And we've combined those 2 stitches. Then we're going to work a single crochet into the next 3 stitches for a total of 4. Next we do a slip stitch once into the next stitch and the second one into the next, and turn. We are working this row with 4 single crochets, so 1, 2, 3 and 4. Chain 1 and turn. Again into this row we are reducing. As you can see, we are putting 2 stitches together into one, and in this row we're going to have 3 stitches. So after the reduction we're going to do 2 more, and then we're going to slip stitch twice, so once and twice, then turn. We turn and we work with 3 stitches now. So 1 single crochet, the second one, and then the third one, then turn. And we're going to chain 1 and turn, then we're going to reduce, make the last reduction in this row, put in 2 stitches together. So that's our first, then the second one, and then we're going to slip stitch next and slip stitch into the next one again, then turn. And we're going to do 2 single crochets in this row, 1 and 2. Then you're going to chain 1 again and turn. We are again working 2 single crochets because at this end we only need 2 single crochets. We're not going to reduce any further, so we're going to work with 2 single crochets till we get to the end. So we slip stitch once and then twice, and that is our last stitch. So that's going to be our last row of 2 single crochets. So 1 and the last one right there. Then you're going to chain 1 and cut off the yarn, and at this point we are done with the main part. The only thing remaining is to work the straps, so we're going to go ahead and work those straps. This is what you're going to have after you're done with the edging. This is the top part of the top, and this is the bottom part. Now we're going to attach the straps. This is the front part of the top and the back part. So we'll do the straps at this point, and we're going to reattach the yarn on the second row of the edging. So we have the first and the second one. So into this one you'll put your hook through, get the yarn, put it through, and bring the shorter end up the hook, then do a chain 1, then we're going to chain 2 more for a total of 3, and that is our first double crochet. Then we're going to work a second double crochet into the last row right there. Then you're going to chain 3. After the chain 3, you're going to yarn over and work a double crochet in between the 2 double crochets that you have from the first row, 2 of them, 1 in between, so that you get 2. Chain 3, yarn over and work in between these 2 double crochets, 3, then chain 3 again and work in between the double crochets. We're going to work like this until you have a total of 50 rows, or as long as you want your strap to be. I'll do 50 rows of 2 double crochets each, and then after that I'll reattach my yarn at the beginning on the other side right here. In the first row we'll have the chain 3, in the second row we'll have a double crochet, and then we'll keep working double crochets like we are working on this side. So I'll go on, do my 2 straps, then I'll come back and show you how to strap them on. I went on to do a total of 80 rows instead of 50 so that I can get a longer strap, and at the end of each strap you're going to chain 1 and cut off the yarn. Then whatever end that remains you're going to pull it out, first 10, then make a knot with that end that remains, and make sure that the knot is very close to the stitches. Then at that point you cut, not too close to the knot, just like that. And then you're going to do the same on the other strap. Make a knot and make sure it's close to the stitches. Tighten it and cut the yarn. Then we're going to weave in the ends on the top and these ones at the bottom part. So all the ends that are left hanging, get your darning needle and weave them in. You want to ensure that the ends are inside the stitches, so just put it through onto the wrong side of the top and weave inside the stitches. We can do this right here on the bottom. So fold your top like this, and then we're going to get the straps. The one on the right side goes to the left side of the top. The one on the left comes to the right side. We're going to get this upper part where there was an edging and get a gap. Check out for a gap that is on the top part where the edging was and put the strap through. Do the same on the other side. Get the gap on the very top part where there was the edging and put the strap through. Next, we are going to crisscross the straps. Then from where we've attached the strap, we're going to start counting gaps. So we'll count 1, 2, 3, and 4. Into the 4th gap, you'll put your strap through. And do that on the other side. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then you're going to crisscross the straps again. Count 4 gaps and attach into the 4th one. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then you're going to keep going till you get to the bottom part. Now at this point I have less than 4 gaps remaining, so I'll just keep whatever gaps are remaining and attach the strap onto the last one. So I'll have skipped just 1 and 2 into the last gap, put the strap through, and do the same on the other side. So at this point, the top is done. You can go on, try it on and see whether it fits. And thank you so much if you've stuck around to the end of the tutorial. If you've liked it, kindly leave a comment. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if not hit the notification bell, kindly hit it so that you get notified every time I upload a tutorial. See you in the next one.